Right now in our culture, there's a lot to be said about expectations. And, a lot of people generally have very high expectations of a lot of different things in their life. And that is due to social media and essentially everything that is feeding you information and, altering your perception about your own expectations. And this is something that I have struggled with a lot as a creator and somebody that's into self-development, is that I have extremely high expectations of myself and of everybody around me in my life. And what I've been hit with a lot recently is that I should be dumbing down my expectations. And that's been really hard for me, essentially, because obviously it's not who I am. I have very high expectations. I want to be the best in everything that I'm doing, and I have high expectations for myself. So I'm always pushing myself to get to that next level. And obviously that means I'm harder on myself. It means that, I think that I'm not good enough in certain aspects, which, I've developed a healthy relationship with now based on awareness. That can easily obviously slip your mind, and you can just be very hard on yourself and never really achieving the goals that you want or thinking that you're actually progressing. So celebrating small wins is a part of that. But back to my expectations being dumbed down. I've had this from a couple of different people in my life, even mentors as I was growing up. They try to remanage your own expectations about your reality. And the thing is, it's your paradigm. You get to choose it, and it's very common, like you're a young artist and people are like, why are you doing that? You'll never achieve that. You'll never do that. Why? Well, you're never going to make money off that. Why would you ever do that? And there's various other tropes that people come at you with, especially when you're young, that really try to remanage your own expectations about, where you should be going and what you want to be doing. And that's because all these people that are telling you this have also been conditioned, or perhaps, they are artists as well that have struggled with this, and then they haven't achieved the success that they want and they've decided to give up on that. So it's their imperative to try and stop other people from achieving it because they've never achieved it, or because then they never had the belief in themselves. They lack that belief in themselves that they would actually achieve it. And so generally, if you're an artist, you've probably experienced some of this. And what I'm here to tell you today is that you absolutely need to ignore all of it, right? Because over the last year, maybe 2 years, I've heard a lot of this messaging. And it's interesting because I thought I was almost immune to it at this point, right? Because, I had grown up and pushed past all these messages and challenged people when they were telling that to me when I was young, even 15, 16, and then 18, 20, I'm producing music, I'm making videos on YouTube, I'm trying to get a, artistic job that's going to make me a lot of money and all these different things, and everyone, just telling you not to do it because it's not going to work or it's not a good idea or whatever it is. And so I thought I was immune to a lot of this messaging, right? But as I said, over the last 1 to 2 years, it's crept back in, and, it's become clear to me that, you have to be very careful the people that you associate with. It's the common thing that Tim Ferriss says, you are the average of the 5 people you most spend time with. And it's just so dead true, especially if you're an artist. Because again, if you have a mission, you have a clear vision of the future, you know where you want to go, you know what you have to do to achieve those goals, and you're pushing towards that. And then you have these expectations of the people around you that they are going to want to put in any kind of effort at all, rather than just being lazy or, just doing whatever they want to do because it's easier, whatever it may be. The fact remains that if you actually have this clear vision, you have to be vigilant about people telling you not to do that, or people telling you that your expectations are too high. Because chances are they are not, okay? Chances are they are realistic. Chances are they're actually too low, right? And I'm not telling you to be really hard on yourself. It's obviously important to find that balance, and that's a whole other video, right? But here's a good example, right? Like with my music goals, I've spoken a lot about having clear vision of the future. And I think that's paramount to actually getting where you need to go. So I've written down my weekly KPIs, right? My key performance indicators, that if I'm achieving these things on a week-to-week basis, then I will get to where I want to go in 5 years and in 10 years. And I have that written down next to my mission statement as well, right? And so some of these goals for 5 years from now are, X amount of plays on Spotify because I'm a music producer or a DJ, bro. And, releasing however many songs per month and per year, releasing on particular record labels, playing at particular festivals, and I have each of these very specific goals written down. And as I said, this is absolutely necessary for you to get where you want to go. Otherwise, you're just faffing about, right? You just rock up and you just kind of like playing around in Ableton or making a bit of a video, but you don't know where it is you're going. And when you know exactly where you're going, then it's easier to break down that step by step before it, so that you can start to action those steps, so that you can take those steps to actually achieve that goal, right? I mean, it's just logical, but a lot of people don't even really think about this. And this is why it's really necessary for me to put this message out, because, it's so valuable and a lot of people just don't even consider it. Back to expectations though. So these are the expectations that I have set for myself. And sure, some of them are probably a reach, but again, that classic saying, reach for the moon and you'll hit the stars, right? So some of them potentially are too high expectations. They're not unrealistic. They are definitely achievable, right? But they are high expectations, okay? And for me to achieve those things, I know exactly what I have to be doing on a day-to-day basis, how much time I need to be putting into music production, how much time I need to be putting into marketing, how many times I need to record a set at a festival and put that out there, record some cool stuff. And you've probably seen some of my sets on YouTube. This is a form of marketing, right? And so these are all the actions or the key performance indicators that I need to be actually taking part in for me to achieve that goal. And it becomes really hard, and all of this becomes really, muddied and not very clear. And you almost forget about all of this and why you're doing it when other people tell you that it's too much, especially when you have expectations of the people around you, when you're like, I'm on this journey. And so if you want to be on this journey with me, I have these particular expectations of you, and this is where you can lose a lot of friends, or you just have to be disciplined in trying to find high value friends, people that will support you, people that do care about your journey. They will, ask you questions about where you're up to, and they won't make negative comments about, what you're doing. And ultimately, the person that's most responsible for holding these expectations is yourself, okay? And the second anybody in your life is telling you that your expectations are too high, especially of them, then you need to really reconsider whether that is a healthy relationship in your life as an artist. Because as artists, and Dr. Gabor Mate says this a lot, generally artists are more sensitive people, which, that just makes sense, right? As an artist, you're more in touch with your emotions and, how you interact with the world. And that's the way that you actually express yourself, by putting art out into the world, because that's how you can kind of best communicate how you feel about the world, and hopefully that brings value to other people as well. And this is just another reason why it's just so important to, be very clear on what your expectations are of yourself. Don't make them too extremely high. Make them achievable, but make them very high, And then all you have to do is be extremely disciplined and execute all of your KPIs in order for you to achieve that. And on top of that, ignore everything outside of this that is giving you messaging that says otherwise. And, another version of this is TikTok and Instagram and Reels and YouTube even, As an artist, you can consume content from other people on the internet, especially Reels, because they can get, a message across within 5 seconds, which can alter your perception on your own reality, right? And that can potentially make you go, oh, what's the point? I shouldn't be doing this at all. But then you have to remember the root reason of why you're doing this, And it could just be that you actually enjoy it, And a lot of these platforms, they're essentially creating narratives, right? There's several sides to each narrative, and then particular people decide they want to take part in one side of that narrative because it benefits them from the algorithm or from a money standpoint or whatever their reason. But the fact is, we don't know their reason, and their narrative that they're pushing, you can just watch a few more seconds of that on an algorithm, on a TikTok or on a reel, and then all of a sudden it thinks you like that content. It will show you more of that content. And then the more of that content you see, the more that will influence your perception of that narrative, which could be changing your own expectations, right? And so this is why I say you have to be so vigilant in today's world, because everything is shaping your perception. you know, your friends, your family, your partner, you know, the internet as a whole. And you need to stay true to yourself as an artist, as to what your expectations are of yourself and your expectations of your friends, especially if you're into self-development as well. Because if all of a sudden all of the friends that are around you are saying that, you know, why are you going to the gym so much? Why are you not drinking? Like, just come out with us, just have a drink, like, you know. And again, that's a particular narrative, right? And that habit is going to affect your life in a particular way, which will again affect your artist journey, right? So if you're staying true to yourself, if you're staying clear with your expectations of yourself and what you expect of people around you, then the actions that you need to take are also very clear. And, you know, if the actions of others are negatively impacting you and you're aware of that, then the actions you need to take in regards to them are also very clear. And I might do another video on that in the future. But you have to be a savage about this stuff, especially if you're an artist and you actually care about achieving your goals. You know, and goals is also another video, because your perception of success, your definition of success may be very different to somebody else's. Again, that comes back down to narratives. So creators, I hope you've enjoyed my rant on expectations. I've said expectations so many times now, I'm over it. The word's sounding weird, okay? Does it sound weird to you? But if you have higher expectations of yourself, keep them, okay? Become clear on them. Stay true to yourself. Question other narratives that come, you know, into your existence that are trying to change your perception of your own reality. Because you are in control and you can achieve anything that you want to achieve as an artist. And all you have to do is stay vigilant. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.